right, welcome to Alchemize last quarter chat. So hard to believe. We're gonna do like we always do, settle in with our breath. So we're gonna come in and just take one breath for ourselves, just to settle in, let go of anything that is no longer serving us. And then we'll take a breath for the collective, and then one for the special intention that we hold in our hearts tonight. So just go ahead and close your eyes and drop your head into your heart space and just take the deepest breath that you've had all day. And just release it. Let's take a breath for those that are in our thoughts and in our hearts. And then let's take a breath for a special intention that we hold tonight for the space. All right, welcome, Joyce. Okay, if you got your candle, we'll go ahead and do our candle ritual. All right, let this flame represent.
Let this flame represent
The wild spirit that burns within each of us.
the wild spirit that burns within each of us.
As we awaken our own wild spirit.
As we awaken our own wild spirit.
May we awaken the collective.
May we awaken the collective.
Put that someplace safe.
All right. Dragon's blood.
Nice. I need to get mine out tonight. I will do that. I don't have it with me right now, but I did get some. I love that smell.
It is nice, yeah. It is nice. All right, so let's before we hop in, because I know we have a couple of other people may come on, but I want to go on and go through the keys and stuff, because I know we'll have lots of conversation about this month. But to get us started with this topic of Alchemize, how we started the beginning of the Zodiac New Year, a perfect topic of creating change. And we talked about imagination being one of our keys, you know, the creating change being a major focus, and imagination as well. And then the myth and magic from the stories that we tell ourselves, how we present ourselves into the world, and then what inspires transmutation for us? What is the catalyst that kind of lights the fire under our butt to make some changes? And really important, this phase of the moon is releasing attachment. So attachment to what the outcome could be, attachment to anything that we're holding on to, that we feel that we need to hold on to, that may be holding us back. And the mantra for this month is: the first step toward change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. And the third step is to release attachment. So with all of that said, and with a little emphasis on the releasing attachment part, let's start there. How have you viewed the releasing attachment part? What's that meaning to you right now?
Well, hang on, I want to go back just a second. But going back to like even the releasing, because whenever we do this, when we start with our divine art alchemy and we have our socks and everything like that, and the modalities. And so I think sometimes that when we are doing this work, sometimes we get stuck on a specific modality or wanting to use that or utilize that. And sometimes just saying, you know, set it aside for a minute and work with a different modality and see if you get a different result. So going back to the releasing detachment, thinking, when we come together and we're talking and we're saying, this is what I've chosen, these sock items or this and that. And you've gone through the cycles and got this far, and it's like, hey, you don't necessarily want to give up your intention, but maybe you want to release a little attachment to how you're going to get there. And I just wanted to emphasize that because, so many times it's like you don't have to ditch your whole intention, but you can maybe ditch the way that you perceived you were going to get there, because we only know how we get places in hindsight. And I think that especially for creating change and, that imagination, that it really is a good way to just be open to whatever God source universe brings to us here.
Hi,
So
Deborah.
those are just on that.
Welcome. Yeah. So and that is the releasing attachment to the outcome, the general outcome of, what your intention may be, but the outcome to all the steps involved, because that's really kind of what we're doing each month, as I do make a circle, going through all the phases,
Spiral.
going through those little steps that, the phases of the moon teaches us. So yeah, releasing that attachment to the step. Yeah, a step. Yeah. A step. Yeah. So back to the question to throw out to everyone. When you hear releasing attachment, and that is something that you hear a lot, not only do we say it, but you'll hear it out there in the world quite a bit these days. But when we say releasing attachment, what does that feel like? What does it look like right now? And especially in the mindset of this month of creating change.
It's releasing control
Hmm.
and finding balance in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
'Cause-
okay, Joyce, I know you've had a lot of change this month. I wasn't going to giggle until you made me. But so how was that this month then? And the releasing and control?
I mean, it's always a process, right? But once you realize, like, you control things out of fear and anger, maybe even, seeing how other people control right now is also part of that journey for me, and checking in with myself, making sure I'm not continuing, family cycles and stuff too, because I'm back at my mom's right now. But it's different. Like, I'm actually saying stuff about it. I'm like, yeah, that was controlling, I mean, I'm keeping it light, but I'm also like saying something, and I don't normally do that.
Oh, that's a big deal.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm not doing it
Mm-hmm.
for offense. I'm like, can you shed a little bit of awareness on your own actions? But for me, I had to really work through releasing the dogs, and I even did. And so what Kathy was saying about changing up your modalities, I have a lot of modalities that I use a lot, but I know the value in getting outside of myself with that, so I try to keep my circle of people that I'm like, okay, I need a session, I need to cash in, and I found that I released them intellectually first, but emotionally I didn't, even though the emotion wasn't as charged with the intellectual letting go. It was still there, kind of hanging on. So there was layers to it, to releasing the control and the, where they were going and how they get there. And they're not gone yet, but I also had to talk my son through this yesterday, my 14-year-old, that I was like, well, I see places where he hasn't learned his lessons yet of why they're with us. And so I'm like, maybe you're the reason they're still here, because you haven't been willing to face what's coming up in you because of them. So he went and meditated and came back and saw things very differently. and finally had the attitude adjustment he needed for like 6 weeks. And so,
Wow.
so it was all of us detaching from them, but also just detachment from I've tried to not overthink our process and our nomad life and just doing aligned action with where it feels very in flow. And, and sometimes that's totally different than what I started out thinking we were going to do, and not holding tight to, I really recognize that what spurs me to action in the beginning may not have anything to do with the ending. Yeah. So does that sound weird on your side? Because
It did for a second, but it's fine now.
okay. Anyways, that whatever inspired my action may not have anything to do with where I end up, so letting go of that, like just appreciating the action and rolling with it. So I think I like being in that place of just allowing it to unfold and not needing to control it. And it's getting easier. I mean, the dog situation was not easy, but the more I actually let go of it, now I'm just like, whatever is the best outcome can happen. So that's the big one, and letting go of lots of stuff. We purged big time this month. So yeah, the releasing attachment was definitely, but we're doing it to create and make room for what we want. So, and right now, when we got the dogs, it's a very different situation now. So releasing them for their best life releases us for our best life, so anyways, and we'll approach that topic in a very different way, having already gone through it this way in the future.
Well, it's interesting because, change is going to happen no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Like it's always going to happen. So I love this month in that awareness part of it of, like, how do I do it or how do I surf it? And what you just said, like, kind of like create the best version of change of what you can't control. Let's just, how do I create the best version of a bad change or a welcome change or
and I think
a weird change?
The change we have control over is us, like how we're showing up, how we're making the choices. Yeah. So it's like, if you're focusing on what you can change, it's mainly you, so, because I couldn't change him and his idea. I just had to talk him through it and be like, you need to go get real with yourself and come back and tell me what you find,
Yeah.
So, and I didn't, go into a modality with him. I mean, he likes meditating. So I was just like, all right, you need to go. You haven't done that in a while. You need to go reset. And we do have a great backyard here. So that makes it more inviting to do those things, nature-y things. There's something else I was going to throw on that. I think that was it, maybe. Anyways, and for me overall, the creating change, like I wanted movement, and that's what set us out leaving our rental, and so I need movement to create. So allowing that and giving it space, and we actually have connected with friends here this time, whereas last time we were isolated here still. So it's all very different this time around. So anyways,
that's why we do the spiral, right? That's why we do the spiral.
Yeah. It's very different. I felt it coming. Like I wasn't upset about coming back or anything like that. I saw the purpose in it. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I do like the new beginning. My birthday was Sunday, so I was looking forward to that because that's always my new year. January never feels that way to me. I'm like, I gotta get out of the winter. So I've always followed the new year in the spring kind of thing. So it feels like, okay, now it's time to take action. Made room for it, now do it. So
nice.
Very nice.
Nice. And happy birthday, face to face.
Thank you. Thank you. My 7th birthday in a 7-year.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And balance has been a huge, maybe that's what I was going to say, the balance of, because that's been a really hot topic and that's our word, right? And it was already my word before I knew what the word came up for the soul acceleration. And this month, or the last couple of days, it's come up a lot. Like conscious balance, like creating it. and allowing it. So I think that's part of releasing the attachment, allows things to find equilibrium. So anyways, I'll be quiet now.
Love it. That's awesome. That's beautiful.
Love the share. Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Go ahead.
Deborah, so
Yeah.
good to see you.
Hi, I'd like to share, this is incredible how everything is truly coming together. Yet again, right? Time after time. Releasing attachment to me, I'm actually going deeper at this point, and releasing attachment to me is integration. And what I mean is the new needs to be integrated, and I need to give space for integration. So once I've cleared the old thinking, expectation, like step 1, step 2, step 3, this is how it's going to happen because I told the universe, right? Just allowing that integration is it's healing to me, and it has been very healing at one level, the initial level, and then the more I sit with it, the deeper, and it feels like it sinks down deeper into my soul, and it's settling. It's finally getting down in there, and it feels beautiful. So I would like to just add that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Immense gratitude.
That's
Yeah, that's-
beautiful.
To recognize that and then share it with all of us really is exciting.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like I'm on the cusp of something that I have longed for in my soul for many, many lifetimes. And I know that I'm an old soul. I know that I am a light being, starseed, and that in itself, the fact that I seek contentment, I'm actually very pleased to say I'm finding it. That's one of the things that I am seeking for my soul expression, and it's happening. I'm very happy. Yeah. So
Oh my
that's good.
God.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That feels so light, almost like levitation light excitement. Yes.
It is.
Congratulations.
That is a good way to explain it. I've been searching for words, and that truly is a great way to explain it, because it's like I'm levitating. I'm not, the efforting is gone. There is no efforting.
Efforting. I love that.
I know.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question about like your divorce and all of that? Did this
Oh,
start?
yeah.
So you had this before you initiated the divorce, or like, so give us a little backstory on how long you've
Sure.
done this, right? Because
Right,
like
right,
if
okay.
you're already at this place and you
Right.
know your
Like,
needs
how
are
did this come
are
about?
here. Yeah. Mhm.
Right. Yeah. So great question. A couple of years back, I had this epiphany that I am going through the motions, and I'm a member of the family, meaning spouse, children, same home, but I didn't belong. I wasn't truly a member. I have always felt like, and this is going to sound, well, it is what it is. I have felt like an outcast, that I saw things spiritually and I would try to communicate to the best that I could. And my spouse at the time couldn't understand and couldn't wrap his brain around. And I don't mean that in a mean or harsh way. He just didn't have awareness. And it was this huge dichotomy that was made aware. I was translating is trouble, sorry, that I was made aware of. And that was like the jumping off point for me to say, okay, there is something bigger here. There is something deeper here. I've always felt like a very, very, very old soul. I know things I should not know. I know things
Cool.
that happened historically years ago that I've never read in a book, but I know them to be truth. And that set me on this journey. And that's really where my first exposure to, in this lifetime, chakras and understanding and looking at the moon differently, and why I had this longing, like I could almost touch and like you would caress a baby, right? Like, I love you so much, to the moon, and to, like, I've always been so fascinated. And it's only in the last year, May will be a year. Yeah, okay, North Carolina law is 1 year and 1 day. You have to be in separate dwellings before you can petition the court to get a piece of
Wow.
paper for a divorce. So probably the longest statute for any state. And I'm in
Wow.
it. So thank the universe that I've had this year, because in this year, what has unfolded to me, I am now aware of other practitioners who do things with emotion, with body, with energy. And I am really embracing and understanding I truly am. Most of my existence, I've not been in a human body. I've not. I'm a light being. It's what I am. I'm a starseed, but I'm a light being starseed. It makes so much sense to me, because the pains and the aches and the hardship of having total expanse, and now you're putting it in a container called a body. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, right. So it's like my dad used to say, it's 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag. That's a hard fit. Like, it's hard to fit 10 pounds when you know that the container only holds 5. How do you shove them in there? It hurts. So these aches, these pains that I feel physically, and the struggle and the strain and the stress that I felt spiritually, I understand that now. And I have soul directives. So when I came, there were certain things specific to me that I came with the intent. And one of the very biggest, and I actually brought this with me tonight. So there's actually soul responsibility types. There's 5. And they go sequentially. So the first one is like a child. They're just here to play. They're on earth and they're here to play. Things go so easy for them. They never get sick. Everything goes according to what they want. They just kind of go with the flow. That's not me. The second, they're here. They deal with emotions, addictions, habits that are destructive. The third, they have a little bit more responsibility. They're older souls, but they are here to work with sensitives, like indigos and, sensitives. Type 4, that's what I am. So one of the things that I work on is the responsibility to create new morphic fields, and the big responsibilities to help humanity evolve and to heal humanity. And that is when I finally figured that out, I'm like, oh, it clicked, like it locked in place. And I'm like, let's get this done, because I want like humanity needs to evolve, and humanity needs, we've been here before. Like, there's so many people who have come with this purpose to heal humanity. And it's one of those things that it's like your soul longs, and you're just like, everybody, let's get on the same page and let's have this ascension. You know, it's happening. Codes are coming. Like, this is what you're feeling in your body. Let's do this. Like, let me help you get this done, because you will experience what your soul truly has wanted its whole life from conception as a human. If you're a evolved human, or, you know, wherever you're at in that, right? So it started a couple of years back when I truly realized, why am I trying to fit in? I've never fit in. I don't fit in. Why am I trying to do that? And it kind of started from there. That was my big awareness. And then realizing that, wow, there are other people. And when I meet them, I've never met them in this lifetime, but I know, I recognize them. And what I recognize in them is that they are starseeds too. They are part of my family. And I've probably worked with them at some point on either another planet or another globe of some kind, whatever. But just really embracing that and understanding. And it's this connection of finally realizing, oh, this is my mission. I am not going to allow anything or anyone to derail me anymore, period. And that was like a definitive moment for me. So hopefully that answer, like, that's a lot, there's a lot more in there, but I'm just trying to give you like the brief overview, because that was a power-packed question. So I'm trying to unpack it a little bit, but that's what's happening. And everything that I'm doing is now from this new standpoint of either this is mission and I keep it, or this is not mission and I relinquish. So this whole idea of releasing attachment, if it's not part of what I'm here to do, and my higher self is saying, no, then guess what? Nope is the answer.
That's fantastic.
So that's how I'm releasing. And that's what I mean to integrate. So the pieces that remain that should be there are now falling in place because I'm allowing. I'm no longer fighting. I'm allowing.
It's a perfect step and awareness of how to create change of any sort at that point.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
Yes, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And May 21 will be the first official day that the court can be petitioned. And I'm happy to report that I'm not paying the filing fees.
I love it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's still going to happen, right?
The children's father is paying the filing fees. Yes, that's correct. And I've already talked to my attorney. We've got, like, it is green light. Let's go. May 21, come on, you know, so yeah.
It won't be that far away. It'll
I
come
know.
quickly.
Yeah. But I have sat in gratitude rather than remorse or pain or anger or this low vibration, any of those low vibrations. I have sat in this pure energy of, I'm grateful. Yes, I'm 58, but you know what? I could have been 74 and finally got it. So got time.
Or never got it.
Or never got it and had to come back and repeat the whole thing with the same kind of people. And I'm like, not doing that. I'm itching to get out of this body and be just pure light again and not be constrained. Yes.
Enjoy what you learn at the moment, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
Beautiful
am.
lessons.
I am. So thank you for letting me share. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Great question, Kathy. Thank you. Mhm.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
doing it.
So, I know we don't have much time, but,
Oh, we're good.
I just want to jump in. I was really, thank you guys so much for sharing, what's been going on your path. I mean, extraordinary. And I came in tonight not thinking I had a lot to share, about this cycle, but, I guess what I would like to, share, on the whole topic of alchemy and letting go of attachments and all that kind of stuff is, uh, well, kind of like when you were going through the different levels, Deborah,
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I were up there with you. I think I'm actually number 2. Deal with a lot of emotional stuff and have had to overcome addiction stuff. And anyway, it's been a good, it's been a good learning life. But I, and talking about past lives, like I got turned on to this one woman. She's like a theta healer of some kind. And anyway, it was this really extraordinary woman. And I had this session with her, and she kind of was able to go kind of into a different plane, sort of almost like a trance, and help me heal up, I guess. She kind of explained like these different past lives that I've had that are, I experienced, there was just so much trauma. And I think it made so much sense in like how I came in to this one,
Like you brought the learned behaviors from the past in with you on this one.
Well, it's kind of like I think it's like I kind of yeah, like a lot of people used to think, I mean, I came from a really nice, kind family, I mean, we all have our issues, but like people used to think like I like acted like some type of I don't know, just like I always got from people that they kind of saw me as wounded, and I definitely did self-medicate a lot through parts of my life, but all that to say, like, this whole session was about sort of like closing those lifetimes off, if you will. It's just like sort of like healing from that and kind of like shutting the door to those things,
Yeah.
in a very simplistic, manner. I mean, the way I'm talking about it, but it was really powerful because it brought up some like core beliefs,
Yeah.
around, just like thinking like basically, other people's projects, all that kind of stuff are more important than mine. And so I guess, if you will, like, I think, it was just interesting that the theme was like alchemy, because it was kind of like I felt really peaceful, after the session. Like, I was like, well, that made a lot of sense. You know what I mean? And why I didn't go down certain paths in my life. And coming from a really Catholic family and not wanting to go down that path,
Yeah.
really with my life and everything. But all that to say that what I was inspired to do after all of that was just really get like, I guess I went to an Easter service. I was kind of like, it was just like a Unitarian kind of thing. And it was so beautiful, just like the changing of the seasons. And apparently one of my lifetimes was I was a druid. But I think that's like, and I just am so energized and like by the changing, by the different seasons, and just allowing myself to be in spring, which has never been my favorite, because of just pollen, sun, all sorts of things that like don't necessarily jive with my body, but we're past the pollen and everything. And so I just I got inspired to just like get my hands in the dirt and really garden and clean things out and plant new foods and, different things. And it was just like, it was so good. I mean, I was just going to spend one day doing it, and I've done it for 3 days straight. And, I feel really dirty and gross, and at the same time, like really, just like I need to be like I don't know, it's like Virgo, like whatever, and like being like having my hands in the dirt is really good for me. Like it's a really good grounding thing, and to feel like I can create, like help nurture new life, and and I'm back in touch with some, an old friend of mine who was like, we did some film stuff together, and she's like, you should come to the film festival with me, and like there's all these great docs, and let's talk about this, and and I just feel myself like kind of being excited for the first time about my profession again. Like I've really been down on the whole thing for a long time, like not really wanting to, feeling like maybe that was over for me. But I realize it's like there are certain things that are ending in my life, and I'm just so it's like I feel like just kind of there was this, kind of a courageous thing about going down this path with this healer, and things are changing, in the wake of it. And I don't always know where I'm going, but I feel like I generally get inspirations on a daily basis of what I should be doing, and go with that. And like I don't have to have it all figured out. And
Yes.
anyway, like I don't know what's left for me in this lifetime to produce, if you will. But I'm kind of got a poet's heart, and I think I'm just gonna kind of go with it. You know what I mean? Try to do the next right thing, and let that sort of lead my way. Because it's like and I tell you, like I don't want to say I get jealous, but it's like I've always kind of thought that I was supposed to be one of those people that has a grand vision, of things, and I just don't. I don't have a real grand vision. And like letting go that I have to have one right now. Like there might be something down the line, you know what I mean? But I mean, you talk about letting go of things, Ember, and yeah, like I think I'll just let go of my therapist, and I didn't want it to be that way, but our last session, she was like, this is okay if it's the end. And I was like, I was like, no, like we've been together since I was like 35 or something. It's like 20 years. And I was like, well, maybe it is time to like let that go, and allow other modalities in my life, whatever. So anyway, thank you for letting me share all that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that.
Kathleen, if I could, if you would permit me for just 1 second to just say this clearing, it's just an observation But this clearing that you did with all these previous lifetimes, right? And this understanding and this deep dive to feel that in your body, because it was anchored in your body, and the release of that. So this clearing of that happened spiritually. It also happened metaphysically. So physically you felt that, but this need to get in the earth and clear out what was there before, maybe the leaves or the vines or whatever, and you're getting down into the dirt. So what that piece is you're just following through with what had already happened to be cleared physically, spiritually first, physically, and now your body is naturally following through for that clearing, for the last little residual piece, because when you clear something like that, it does take time to go through your body. And that means every cell that you have right now, all the taste buds, like everything you have right now. And it takes time to move through. So that is beautiful to hear, because you didn't just let it sit to be cleared. You're actually pushing, you instinctively are following through and being done. And that is beautiful. That is, oh.
And that's what
it is.
And that's what this month was about the creating change, you know,
Yes.
the steps that work for you to do that.
Yeah. And so that's beautiful, Kathleen. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah.
Thanks for being
helps a
so
lot.
open with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the woman she said, you know, it's going to be an interesting next week for you. I didn't know what that was going to mean, but yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
I am so happy for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, it's like I try to, whatever this lifetime, you know, is like, I try to be responsible about whatever it is that, you know, I'm going through, you know, and taking on and all of that. And, you know, I'm, so yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting though, the different stages that you were talking about before. That was very insightful.
With the soul responsibility types, there's
Yeah,
that's what they are. So
Mhm.
thank you. But I'm so proud of you.
Thank you very much.
So, and you're following your intuition.
Mhm.
Do the things that are just, they seem obvious, like this needs done, let's do it.
Mhm.
And leaning into that, really leaning into that, you know, I mean, that's alchemy. That's alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Love
And
it.
thank you for sharing too, Kathleen. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes bravery to come out and share with
Yes.
everyone, and to be on recording to do it so that it lives on. But the thing is, you know, it helps as a model for others. Like Deborah, we were saying, you know, we're here as a model for others, so that someone has to go first, and we're just willing to say, you know, we'll do it, and we'll be willing to be recorded and
In our
yeah, here
contained
for future.
space. In our
Yes, of
contained
course.
space.
Right. Yes, exactly. But
Yeah,
it's
our
still,
safe,
it is that
sacred space.
imprint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
it's so interesting. The thing that kind of came up a lot during the month was like, just like really be in your own truth and don't compromise that. And so I've been saying yes to certain things and no, like to things that I'm just not really interested in.
Good.
It's just
Yeah.
like being honest with myself. It's just like, and not even giving an excuse for it. You know, it's just like,
Right.
I won't be doing that. But thank
Beautiful.
you.
Beautiful. I love it.
Funny.
Mm.
But yeah, well, I mean, can't tell you how great it is to see you guys and hear about all your journeys and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. It is wonderful to witness and to hold each other in love as we do this. Kathy, do you have anything you want to share about this month? I I've got dates to do before we sign off, but you always have
I
work.
feel good. I know I was gonna say, I feel good. If y'all haven't done the full moon ritual, there's still time. It's, I don't know if you guys got to see that or not, but I do think that this could be a really great thing to integrate into this month. I know I was just by myself, so not sure if anybody tuned back in, but if you do, then that would be a really great thing to do.
I will check that out. And I'm sorry I missed it. It was Passover night, so I had a hoo-ha
That's what I
here.
said. It's a busy time for people, but really, that is, we cycle through all the phases because they are important. And as if everything that we give importance to, but just utilizing that time to be really kind to ourselves. And I think that would be a great way to integrate all of the things that we've let go of, that we've focused on, and that creating change, and just to honor ourselves. So that's the only thing I wanted to say. And then of course I'm excited for our next Divine Art Alchemy. But let's go ahead and do this one, the peak of the last quarter moon. You got that handy?
Yeah, that's what I was about to go through. All of the details coming up.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say to sign up on something that I wrote in creating, as Kathy and I created this topic that has stuck with me this whole time and has not been expressed out loud. I think maybe it was in person. I can't remember, but it has really held true for me and been very important for me through this whole thing. And for each one of you that shared, it kept coming up again. So I just want to say it and throw it out there. Me as science brain, when this topic came through, all I kept thinking is nothing in life is truly ever lost. And that just kept coming up. And that is basically, it is kind of like an esoteric way of stating just a postulate of thermodynamics. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's the same thing. Right. So when you go through these changes, what we can release and what we want to create, let's start there, and what needs to be released to make that creation as these changes occur, that we release energy from it, and we have to for it to continue on. That is everything on this planet and on every planet around us that we know of. That's how it works. So when we're talking about, releasing attachment, I think that's really important to think of like, when you let something go, there's still something there. I don't care if it's just the lesson learned, right? There's still something there. Some residue of the heart is fine. It doesn't need to be a big smear, right? Just a little residue, we can move it on. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. The thermodynamic postulate, I think, is really important for this topic. And anytime you want to move some change along, okay, that's it.
Perfect.
So we're in last quarter, right? It is the peak is tomorrow at 5:12 a.m. Okay, so the balsamic moon is coming up, and that's when that occurs on Sunday at 12:15 p.m. This is all Eastern time, guys. When that occurs on Sunday, the balsamic moon, we release this topic and just find time to kind of relax, find some joy, stop thinking of any responsibility or focus on our intention. It is the be time, right? Doobie doobie doo. It's not action time. It is be time. So the way that we get a lot of daylight in this balsamic moon. So take advantage, because it's going to start at noon-ish, depending on your time zone, noon-ish on Sunday, and we're going to have all day Monday and all day Tuesday before we hit the new moon energy. So have some fun, make it a really nice long weekend, even though it's not a weekend, but we can consider it that. And then our Divine Art Alchemy, we meet back on Wednesday. April 19th for Divine Art Alchemy for our new topic, and get ready to be radiant. Now, wait, let's rephrase that. Get ready to let your radiance shine. Radiant is our topic, and it's all about creativity next month.
Nice.
Great to go
love
with this
it.
one.
Right?
So we meet 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time though. So it does change. That is the one that we meet a little bit earlier.
Yes, yeah, Deborah, it's the big one. And then, normally these are like 30-ish minutes.
Okay.
The
Awesome.
other ones, but the new moon is the biggie.
Perfect. I will put that on the calendar. That is amazing.
Yeah, 4:19 on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, the in-person in Atlanta, Kathleen, Heather, Katie, you guys that will watch later. The in-person will be here at my house on Thursday night. So anyway, that's all. That's it. That is the housekeeping update, the dates and the updates. So with that said, we still have a little bit of time, right? We have until Sunday with this topic. So feel free to share any aha moments in the academy. And now I think we need to do a little howling. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I got one more thing to say though.
Yeah.
Because with going back to the next topic drop and everything, so that'll come out on Sunday, like the events, the calendar for the events will come out on Sunday, a little bit after our regular scheduled program. So be sure and RSVP, because that way you'll get your reminder. And of course, we always have a reminder on the day, but if you RSVP, it really makes it, I think, easier for you. So just be mindful of that, because I know a lot of stuff happens there at the end of the cycle and beginning, and
Yeah.
just, but if you can RSVP, it will make it easier on you. So,
Perfect.
and now I'm ready.
Okay. Take a super deep breath. No, wait. When we take this one breath in and out, hold it at the top for the count of 3. Okay, at the top of this one, let it go. Love and moonbeams, you guys. Happy manifesting.
Peace.